I don't know why, but you are watching the Madness Comic Network. Are you mental?
I'm Man Ray from SpongeBob, and you're watching us on Madness Comic Network.
Yeah, you're watching us on the Madness Comic Network. And I am here because today is the day, the end of the ThunderZone Comics campaign, and we're here for the last hour. And we are here with both Dan Sehn and Jerry Hines. What's up, guys? What's up?
How we doing?
What's happening? Jerry, good to see you, buddy. Hope we aren't keeping you awake.
Yeah, what time is it in sunny Singapore?
Can you hear us?
I don't know.
Jerry.
Got everything. The headset, the whole backdrop. Just not the audio.
I think it's his speakers aren't on. He'll figure it out. His headphones. Settings. Change this from your regular speakers to your headphones. You'll get this.
Well, yeah, he does have the graphic there of the new 5 books that we have in the campaign.
Yes.
And I believe you have a link in the comments.
Hi, Jerry. Come on, son. Where you at?
He's looking. Is he looking at the screen?
Hi, Jerry. This is how we do it, people. We're here for the final 60 minutes of the ThunderZone.
1, 2. Can you guys hear me?
Here he is.
There he is. We knew he'd figure it out.
Okay, I can't hear you for some reason. Hold on.
You can't hear us? Still? Settings down below. Settings.
Yeah, you can't hear you saying settings. Settings down below. Maybe I'll do that. Settings.
Audio. Settings in the audio. Come on, work with me. Fix them speakers.
Let me see here.
Yeah. What's up, Carrie? Hi, Carrie. Yeah. Jerry's having a little tech issue, but we'll be all right. Oh, we got another backer just since I looked at this thing. Yeah.
So
I was writing audio settings for him.
Yeah.
But I think it shows up backwards on the screen.
No, it looks good.
It does. All right, just on my screen then.
Mm-hmm. Audio settings.
Okay. My headphones is not working, but I'm playing you on the system speakers. Is it causing a problem?
That'll work.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys clearly.
Oh, okay.
All right, we're good. Showtime.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
We are in business.
Let me do this share thing, guys. I want to pull this campaign up so we can get right to this. Like you say, guys, you got like 54 minutes. You got an hour. You got 1 hour. Tell everybody. Spread that there link out. Tell everybody about it. Tell them 1 hour left. 1 hour. We are going to talk about this thing for the next hour. And we're going to get both views. We're going to get views from Dan. We're going to get views from Jerry. I'd like the chat to ask these guys questions. And let's get to know this book and these people just a little better. Right?
Cool.
I see Critical Blast in the comments, and I know they're a printer, I believe, of a number of indie books.
All right.
Yeah, this is a campaign. We're up. We got a pledge, maybe just.
That's what I said. We got one since I looked at it last, and that was like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see. I like to see numbers go up. Look, this one is well past funding. These guys, they deliver. Look, it's not a question. 13 books create or 13 campaigns created. Back to 320 of you guys. I want to see more numbers here, people. I'm just saying, this guy's backing all of you.
No, I'm out there. I'm buying those books.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I really get impressed when I see a creator that's bought that many books, but then I get discouraged when I see nobody buying his.
I buy all physical also.
You know what I mean?
I don't cheap out on the digital. I buy all the physicals. And even on the Argo Comics YouTube channel, I each month show the indie books that I've bought. Some from Indie Planet, some from Kickstarter, Indiegogo, whatever. I show them all, and I'm out there supporting.
I actually read them all. I read all the books I buy. Okay, I don't like buy it to put it on a shelf. You know what I mean? I buy it because I'm interested in it, and I want to see if the story's any good, and if it's something I'm gonna continue on with. Right?
Sure.
I actually read them. They go on the stack of reader books. They don't go in a box until after they've been read.
I got the already reads and the have to reads. That's how I have my collection.
The already reads go right into the indie box. Actually, I have 4 indie boxes now. I used to only have 1, but now I have 4 indie boxes full of independent comic books from people that do it right. You know.
That's very good, man. I'm very behind with my comics. I've still got quite a few indie comics I have to read.
Yeah, that's the thing. Making the books sometimes takes away from the time of reading the books because that balance, trying to get
you guys are creators. One of the things that's got to be hard for somebody who's writing a book is you got to kind of avoid reading other people's stuff so you don't unconsciously add their stuff to your book, right? You kind of, I would think if I was writing, I'd be avoiding everything else for that time and just writing what's in my head and heart, not what I just read somewhere else.
Well, that's almost like a guideline of not to do. So yeah, anything that you've already seen, it's already been done. Yeah, that's the trick, because especially with the big 2 books, where people are reading those and emulating that in their work. Those books are already out there, widely read, and they have big budget advertising and creator money. So if you're going to do a tribute to what's already been done in those books, then you're not going to present something original. And why I always say they already have Wolverine over there. They already love Wolverine. So you give your Wolverine, it's pointless.
Yeah. Well, remember, right? Pops, right? Dan has a book called Junkyard Joe. You had it for a few years, right? And one of the big 2 has recently come up with a book of the same title.
One of the big 3, we'll call them.
One of the big 3,
yeah.
Amazing.
And then I'll get messages where they'll be like, "Oh, I think you have a problem," and they send me a link to that book, and I'm like, "Did you tell them they had a problem when I had already published this book and they came out with theirs?" But it's a little guy who has to, I guess, crawl under a rock and hide or something.
Well, that's because they know they can buy it through court, because they can last in court longer than you can, and they know it. You know, I mean, you can't fight the big guys without a lot of money and a lot of time. And they just wait you out and postpone and cost you more in legal fees and more in legal fees until you're out of money, and then they win.
Yeah, well, luckily I only had 2 issues planned and I published those already. So,
Yeah.
you know, if they, I mean, we'd pay more in lawyers than we would each profit from the book.
Exactly.
So,
That's the whole thing. But if you challenge them, that's what they're going to do, is drag you through it until you're out of money. You know.
yeah. Well, you know, he's a character within the ThunderZone universe. And, you know, like I said, I had just 2 issues planned, told that story. And I don't know if their book is going to fail also. So it's like, you know, I'm trying to think of a defunct indie title. It's like if we were both arguing about Grips at this point from Greater Mercury in 1986. Like there could have been 2 companies putting out a book called Grips, and they're both gone now. And you know, it's not like anyone ever made a live action film or you know, a Saturday morning cartoon out of them. So yeah, Junkyard Joe, mine has done 2 issues. I didn't see the other one doing big numbers. So once that fades, it'll be a pointless argument. We'll just both be in the back issue bin.
Actually, you know, when the fans stir this kind of stuff up and the businesses don't, that kind of bugs me too. Because if they didn't come at you about it, then why would anybody else? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's like, if sometimes fans instigate things that aren't happening, sometimes they cause them to happen. You know, it's like just enjoy the books, guys. Just enjoy the books.
Yeah, I could see it being a little annoying. Let's say if someone now puts out a book called Cerebus, or you know, something that's already been done, ignoring, you know, kind of like comics history or something like Ms. Mystic. You know, Neil Adams did that for Continuity Studios years ago, and I'm sure someone could just use it right now and no problem. But yeah, so the longtime fans will have certain things. Elementals. If you put out a book right now called Elementals, I mean, hasn't been used in so many years. Maybe someone could do it, but it does, yeah, I guess, you know, nag in your mind a little bit. But the fact of the matter is, again, with our Junkyard Joe being published first, people are, you know, informing the wrong person that there's already a book out there with that title. So,
and they don't care.
Yeah.
The big guys don't care if they're infringing on somebody else's title name. They'll just go, "Hey, it's not the same guy. He's a different uniform. He's black, not white. He's this, he's that," and they, you know, they just play it off, right? But if you tried to do that in reverse, they'd still squash you. You know?
Yeah, I remember being at a Big Apple Con where this indie creator had his own character. And the I guess the X-Men were going to have a character of the same name, and he was a little panicked and I think talked to their editorial and everything, and they agreed to just bypass using that name. So, you know, but yeah, the big 2, like you said, they have the lawyer. They can lawyer up better than you can. So if they want to go with something,
they don't even try to win. They just know they can outmoney you. You know, they can outlast you in a long drawn out case. And I had a friend that had to deal with one of those type of things, and they were coming after him about the title to his book, which
Okay.
didn't have a whole lot. I mean, the books weren't similar. The concept might have been, but the books weren't similar at all. But the little guy knew that all they were going to do is just drag him through it until he was out of money, and he just changed the name of his book. You know, he's just like, I can't fight with them in that way. I'll just change the name of my book.
Well, yeah, it was a superhero happy hour in the time where Marvel and DC both co-held the trademark of superhero.
Yeah.
So they had to change their book to Hero Happy Hour.
Yeah.
And actually, Jerry's Super Cross with the PA instead of the PER, I guess, kind of sidesteps that problem. But they've since lost that that co-trademark of superhero. Anyone can use the word superhero now.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always found that a bit strange.
Yeah, that was pretty recent that came up where they could do that. Where the superhero thing kind of fell to the sidelines, you know.
But Jerry, did you have that in mind with super rather than super?
No, in my universe, you know, when we use the word power, it's a very universally used word, as is super. So in my universe, let's say, for example, if it's on Fox News or CNN or something, if something happens because of a superhero, you would use super or power, POWA. Immediately, the audience would know that this is connected to a superhero.
Okay.
That was the reason for that sub-branding within my own little universe.
Yeah. Which, just not to confuse anyone, the ThunderZone comics is a shared universe. So the Supercross universe is part of the ThunderZone universe, where those Supercross characters can and have mingled in with other creators' characters in, well, so far it's a Thunder Guard book and the Thunder Guard backup story in Junkyard Joe #2. So we saw Singapore Sling and Supercross and Thunder Guard #1 and upcoming in #2. And we saw Clandestine and that backup story in the Thunder Guard backup story in Junkyard Joe #2. But we are, Pops has the campaign page up. We should probably talk about this. And since Jerry's book is up on the screen, maybe he could fill us in on what's happening in that issue.
Well, yeah, that's why you were talking about Supercross, and that's why
Yeah.
I scrolled down to it. But I want y'all to recognize where it says Mega Hero, not
Yeah.
Superhero.
That's what I was using when
Yes.
superhero was, everyone, different companies had different meta heroes
Yeah,
and, I don't know, enhanced beings, or they always use something to replace superhero.
So this is kind of like your arena where they can all intermingle.
Well, we have 11 creators and all the characters are on the same Earth. So it is like the early Image universe where, you had the different studios. Like, let's say Jerry is Jim Lee, and if I was Rob Liefeld, and, one of the other creators is Mark Silvestri. So all their characters were on the same Earth, but they ran their own
Right.
different studios.
And every now and then they intertwined, and
Yeah.
that's the arena where you get the crossover stuff. I like that. That keeps the titles pure, and you just have one place to go when you're doing that crossover stuff. I like that.
Yeah, and everyone's, everyone owns their own thing, and everyone's in full control of that. So if, one of our creators goes to Jerry and says, "Oh, I'd like to use, D. Temasek in my book, and this is what I'm going to do," Jerry could, say that works, it doesn't work, or, we
Right.
all have our own, individual veto if we so choose.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, so this is Supercross number 4. Supercross number 4 on the screen. So we've had 1 to 3 already released with ThunderZone. So in this particular issue, it's the first time that a lot of the heroes actually cross paths properly. So I call it a bit of my Tarantino moment. Sometimes Quentin Tarantino films suddenly do something that's very odd.
Mhm.
Right. Between issue 3 and 4, this is where you either get a reader to be excited and very interested, or they might think the whole thing is nuts. Like we see page 1 here. This scene is in it's the most popular hotel in Singapore. Okay, Supercross is set in Singapore. So they're at Marina Bay Sands Hotel, and they're eating local delicacies, local breakfasts. So that's page 1. So it's it's tying in a bit of the culture here before we get to all the action and fighting later on.
Nice.
And in fact, that first page is 2 of the heroes in their civilian clothes, but they don't even know each other yet. Like the girl on the right, that is Mist, and just behind her, that boy walking past is Wang Wang. They later will know that they're in the same story, but at the moment they're totally oblivious that they're going to be caught up in the same super crossover story.
Well, I mean, at you have to introduce them to each other somehow, and it's better to introduce them before they're throwing blows to the fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what's happening in this scene here? Okay, something's going down in Singapore that has attracted the attention of a couple of the superheroes in America. So they've just arrived in Singapore. That girl on the left there is clandestine. Now she's come with Jimmy Wang, that's him, and his mother. So they're talking about missing school and all kinds of stuff like this because they're still quite young. And to be flying off to another country to investigate some kind of super story, that's not normal. And you'll find in Singapore as well, education out here is very big. And with some of the characters in the story, this whole thing comes up about being, actually technically speaking about it, right? If you look at Batman and Robin, was Robin underage? This thing about, you've got teenagers fighting men and women. It's very dangerous. So it kind of like touches on that aspect of the whole superheroing experience. So you can see there halfway down the page, you'll see Clandestine with half a mask. Remember the old Steve Ditko comics with Spider-Man? Yeah. And you see one on the panel, 2 panels before, you see half the helmet. I really like the way how Stan Lee and the guys did that back in the day. It reminds you who these characters are underneath that, behind the same identity. So yeah, so they know who each other are, but they know who Mist is, but Mist don't know who they are because Mist is a super. She's like what's the name of that lady? Katy Perry, not Katy Perry. Who's a very very famous girl? Pop star.
Britney Spears. I don't know.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, yeah.
Right, Mist is like a Taylor Swift real life magician. She's a street magician, but she actually has those powers. So what she's doing in plain sight isn't a trick. But I always hypothesize, if any of us could fly, if we flew down the high street, people would just think it's a David Blaine illusion. They won't believe you're flying. You could be a superhero now and get away with it. No one would believe that you actually did that. So she just planes in high sight. In plain sight. So as they're walking past her in the hotel, they know that's her having breakfast, but she doesn't know who they are. So I think it's the first 3 or 4 pages of the comic here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by the end of that preview, you don't see any actual fighting, but yeah, you do see a couple of the heroes in their cities, in their civilian clothes.
Which one do you want to go to next? We only got like 30 minutes left, 40 minutes left. This thing's gonna be over, man. We got to talk about all of it.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
one?
I'll run through them very quickly. This is Nature Man, who is the public domain character Nature Boy, having grown up. And we see some other public domain characters, Kismet, Man of Fate on the right, the Dart on the left, and Stardust, the Super Wizard, in the middle there, giving them some problems. So this is 4 issues out of 4. Conclusion of the story. And that previous cover was drawn by Nitho Diaz, who's doing X-Men right now. So we were lucky enough to get that cover before he did that. And this is by Zilson Costa, who is the series artist. Both covers are colored by Giuseppe Pica. And then we had another cover by J.W. Irwin, again Giuseppe Pica doing the colors. So what we're doing with these covers is that you can choose your cover in the survey. So, if you want to do add-ons and get more than one cover, that's fine. But we're allowing people to just choose whichever cover they want in the survey. It used to be a multiple choice. I think Kickstarter changed the survey to a little bit, so I'll see what happens. It screwed us up one time, but since then, they smoothed it out a bit. But that's an interior shot to give you some look at the interior art by Zilson Costa. And I left the dialogue off that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Spoilers.
We understand spoilers. We do. Yeah. We really do.
But yeah, Nature Man or Nature Boy was created by Jerry Siegel and John Buscema. And, Superman's my favorite big 2 character. So, some people say, why do you use Nature Man? Everyone uses Black Terror or Daredevil, some of these other popular public domain characters. And I thought Nature Boy was kind of an untapped character. Now, Mike couldn't make it. I believe he's working, but Marshall Strong is his book. Mike Descharnes, Alan Tomasi drew this with Alan Faria coloring. And Marshall is like a military hero. And alien science is behind those heroes getting their powers, but that same alien science drives them to madness a bit.
He said madness.
Yeah. Appropriately enough for this show. Yes. Madness. Not the macho type.
Well, sometimes even that, you never know, right? You just never know what you're going to get here. That's what makes it wonderful.
And he has his origins in, I think, villains and vigilantes role-playing. So some of those other characters were just characters that were actually played by his friends. And it's really a great book that's been popular. That's another cover by Elton Tomasi.
Hi, Stacy. I don't know what your question refers to. Which color will be selected? I don't know what you're referring to.
Cover, maybe.
Cover? Well, that's up to the fans, obviously. There's 4 different books here, and each of them have different covers, and I guess it's up to the fans what one's going to sell best.
Traditionally it's been cover A. That's J.W. Irwin, who drew the Nature Man cover. He drew a Marshall Strong cover. So a lot of times it is cover A. But
usually people want the same art on the cover that they're getting on the inside, and that's usually how you do cover A. You give your interior artist your cover A for your book, and then you get variants after that from other artists, right?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, having that X-Men artist drawing Nature Man, that seemed to be something we want to publicize. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
but
so that
I
became
don't know
cover
that.
A.
I don't see. That's the thing. It's like it's still you still tell everybody, hey, our cover B variants by this guy, and people are still gonna buy it if they want it. I just like to credit the guy on the inside with that main cover.
Yeah, well, I usually always just try to get a cover from the interior artist because there are books where they don't have that, and I do want that represented
Yeah.
as one of the covers. But yeah, there's Eldon Tomasi's interior work for Marshall.
See, that looks amazing right there. That's good stuff. Good stuff, people. Get on board. Chat. That link is in the chat. It's up there. Matter of fact, let me pin that. Let me pin that link to the top of the chat. Is it going to let me? Is it going to let me pin my own stuff? No, it's not. What the heck? Okay, let me go over here and do it on my channel anyway. I know I can do it on my YouTube. There you go. It's pinned in the YouTube chat, guys. That's the link. Go check it out. Get some before it's too late. Got like 30 minutes.
See, Wistmore said something about when we were talking about the books that get squashed because of the big two doing the book. There was a Red Sonja.
Huh?
Yeah. And I think someone tried to put out Blue Sonja and it kind of got blocked, but they put it out with a different name.
See, I'd have just gone Red Sandra.
Yeah, well, give them anything that's too close and they're going to come after you, especially since it had like, similar chainmail bikini or something.
See, well, yeah, you can't make it the same character. See, that's the other thing. Everybody thinks, oh, if I change the name, I can make the same character. No, you can't. No, you can't do that. You got to do it right, guys.
Yeah.
What's up, Josh? Yeah, go look, everybody. Go check this one out. There's more than one book to choose from on this campaign, which is just a bonus. It ain't just the one we're showing. There's other books here on this campaign, so go check it out.
Yeah, that's Big House Blues, which is the superheroes as corrections officers and supervillains in the Supermax prison. And as you can see, a little riot happening in this issue. Vince White did another cover. The first cover is Ron Williams.
Yep.
And Giuseppe Pica doing the colors. And the other cover is Vince White from the Powerverse with Bruno Costa doing the colors.
Vince is awesome. Vince is one of them people that's actually drawn Crom.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, good dude. I like Vince. You or your character. See, now that's so apropos.
Yeah, we had a level for people who want to put their character in jail.
Well, I mean, I've been there. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I like that. But no, I'm not buying it. I'm not putting myself in the book in that way. That's cool.
You got out, you don't want back in.
No. It's that could be like where it could just be bad.
You don't want to be waiting for this superhero to serve you a tray of food as he's pulling meal duty.
I'm thinking it would be bad directionally for my aura.
Yeah.
To put myself back in a place that I've worked so hard to stay out.
It'll be putting it into the universe, which you don't want. But I do have I interacted with a lot of corrections officers, so I kind of heavily researched this prior to doing it.
Mm-hmm. How many convicts did you talk to?
Convicts? Well, on their way to being convicts.
No, that's what I mean.
On the apprehended side of it.
On the outside of it, after they've been there and they can tell you what their experience was.
Mostly just on drop-offs. Occasionally I would, and you have to bring them back, to where they're going in, a cell drop-off or whatever. Then, yeah, I would occasionally they would ask me something or whatever, and a short conversation because I'm not really, there to hang out.
You're not supposed to be buddies. Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
was there. Right? I did have a couple of correctional officers that I totally respected.
Mhm.
There was a dude that was like 64 years old, man, and he could do
Wow.
21-handed pull-ups.
Wow, crazy.
He'd do it right there in front of the whole yard, man, and all these big buff motherfuckers are going, oh my God. And they, they're all like, I'm 61. I'm still in pretty good shape, but that dude was amazing, right? I had complete respect for him. It didn't matter that he was the badge on the other side. The dude came out on the yard and showed people up. It's like, yeah, it's just the way it was, right? I couldn't be his friend, but I could respect him.
Well,
that's my
this page. Actually, in issue 1, there was a murder in the prison, and Officer Alloy, that's the chief corrections officer, is questioning one of the suspects.
I like him
for that murder.
That's a pretty awesome criminal right there. I like him.
Yeah, Baphomet. He's a demon lord.
Yeah.
They have those power inhibiting collars on them, special bars, polarized bars, keep them in place. So, most of their powers have been neutralized. And
yeah, you got to have a super duper max for the megas, right?
Yeah.
We call it Mega Max. Mega Max prison for the mega bad guys.
So I can easily picture this as a TV show, It's a no-brainer.
Oh, yeah. That could easily be a TV show. Especially when you look at all these reality shows that are based on jail cops and prisons.
Yeah, exactly.
Orange is the New Black they had for a while.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much. I mean, this would easily take that. Good stuff, man. What else do we got? Okay, we talked about Supercross a bit already. Is there one more down? Oh, yes, there is one more down here.
So, Weirdo. Okay. We have a lot of serious superheroes, and I thought we need a little like comedy, zany, wacky type of hero. So I had this Weirdo concept. Actually, Weirdo, Big Ass Blues, and Nature Man all were serialized in Antarctic Press's Exciting Comics. So they were chopped up a bit and didn't really get like the full issue presentation I wanted, which now they're getting in these full issues. They actually didn't get to the ending of Nature Man, so that's completely new story. And same thing with Big Ass Blues. I don't think we got to the chapters that I just published. But Weirdo, like I said, more of a zany madcap type of character with abilities to like levitate. He has a battle yo-yo that he takes into his adventures. And somewhat like of a cartoon reality altering power where, let's say, if he needs to pull a giant mallet out from behind his back, it just so happens to be there, so not like, supreme powers, not omniscience or anything, but just a little, step up from your normal superhero powers. The first cover of Eduardo Vienna is the series artist, and colors by Perea Pillai. And then that one, the second one, is a homage cover by Jardel Cruz. Again, Perea Pillai doing the colors. And instead of some webbing, we just so happen to have a can of Philly string there. So
yes, that's awesome.
And we did make the stretch goal to have this third cover offered.
Yes. Just made the stretch goal, huh? Recently.
Yeah, well, we actually hit it and then bounced back down and then bounced back up. So, yeah, we had hit it before, but yeah, people of a popular sitcom, which was a show about nothing, might recognize that painting from a certain episode of that show. Which again, a lot of times you'll just have homages to Marvel and DC covers, which is good. I mean, I've done it myself, but sometimes I like to think outside the box. And that cover was a bit, of a tribute to something outside of comics, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah. All right.
And then we had a third cover, which didn't really get backing, which usually people see. Actually, the last campaign we had Sorority Power as a comic, and you can get your female hero as a sorority sister. And I guess people kind of liked that concept. I just wanted to make another custom cover. Figured Weirdo would be good because we could have a really zany cover, but I don't think it caught on because it doesn't have as clear a purpose, I guess, as having your female character as a sorority sister, or even having your character as a prisoner. But
see, now that's just it. 5 years ago, I'd have probably been all up in that cell in your book. I'd have probably like, oh, that's funny, and I'd have jumped on that, right?
Yeah, I think Vince probably right? Wasn't your character part of that for one of Vince's books?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
He's in the most wanted list. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes it catches and sometimes it doesn't.
Well,
but,
see, now I'm thinking in terms of me. I wouldn't put me, Pops, in that cell, but I can see Crom in that cell.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It can be any. That's why we only drew one of them without the face, and the upper cells were empty because we didn't know what body types might, show up.
The thing that is what would I'd have to see is you'd have to prove to me that you could put Crom in that cell, because he's an internet troll, and he can jump in your phone, your computer, any internet connected device, and be gone. Poof, gone.
See, that's where the power dampening collar comes into play, where whoever apprehended him and got him unconscious.
That's what I'm saying. You can't grab him. He's not corporeal. There's nothing that he's a projection of the internet. You know what I mean? He's like he was born in cyberspace. There's no physical form, but he can project a physical form. You see what I'm saying? He can also dissipate it. Like,
then he might not be a good candidate.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to get him in jail. That's what I'm saying. If you can prove to me that you can get him in jail, then we might be able to talk.
Well, I think Mist would use her magical abilities to transfer his consciousness into that physical form that he made and then render him unconscious. And then he gets the power dampening collar on, and off to prison he goes.
We'll see if we can figure that one out. What's up, Chris? Chris Brown, what's happening? Stacy, this is all like stuff that's been covered in like 100 shows. I don't have to talk about my history every time I get up on here. So, let's just say I did time for weed, okay? That's all. That's all anybody needs to know. Did time for weed. That's all. I know, it's freaking hilarious, isn't it? It's sad. It's sad. I did real time for weed.
Yeah,
it'll be for that.
Yeah, it's not even worth talking about. It's so bad.
But yeah, like you said, we did have 13 campaigns and usually fulfilled very, very quickly, which is, why we have a reputation of, the books we complete ahead of time, from the funds of the previous Kickstarter. So we only needed that first Kickstarter to get funds to make the book, and then after that, it was all just using those funds for the next ones. And in that respect, the books are complete, or mostly complete, and then we just have to get the digital rewards out, get the print order in, books shipped directly from the printer, so we usually have a bigger turnaround time than most.
Right.
And that's the dependability we want, because me and Pops had this conversation about me backing something that I didn't get mailed to me. And hadn't encountered.
We did have that conversation.
Yeah.
And I want to focus on one other thing here. One thing that really matters to everybody. Okay, 24 pages, $6 digital, $12 physical for each book, right?
Yep.
Each book is $6 for the digital, $12 for the physical. So no differentiating in pricing until you get down here and you're getting bundles, right?
Yeah, you can get a discount by buying just all 5 digital or all 5 physical.
Right. And now you do have some add-ins also where people can get back issue like #1, stuff like that too as well, right?
Yep, all the back issues, like Supercross is on 4. We have 1, 2, and 3. Nature Man's on 4. We have 1, 2, and 3. All in the add-ons.
Yeah, Stacy, I said something about it. I didn't encourage questions about it though. I didn't go, hey, anybody want to ask me any question? I did imply that he could have. Yes. For background for his book. Yes, I did imply that he could have. Yes.
And Josh asked, what are we talking about today? And we're talking about this Kickstarter. So
Yeah.
hit the link, check it out, because there's only about 10 minutes left in it.
Yep. 10 minutes. Go get you some, guys. Like I said, you can get all the comics in print, all 5 for $50. Again, you can have your character drawn right there in that cell. You can have yourself drawn in that cell. You can have your friend, if he's okay with it, drawn in that cell.
Yeah.
Weirdo custom cover, all 5 comics. There you go. Plus all 5 comics. So you get the Weirdo custom cover, which, it's kind of cool with the silhouettes. I'm just saying.
It's going to actually, that's just a mock-up.
Right.
But at this point, without backing, it'll just be your character in Weirdo. So you'll really have a feature on that cover, unless we get, 4 people jumping in the next 10 minutes. But
didn't think of that. If you want your hero in Weirdo on a cover together right now, just them, back it quick.
Yeah. But yeah, then we have levels for everything we've published so far.
There you go. Yeah.
In print or digital. So
and you can, if you're like me and you're that collector dude and you want to go just get #1s, they're in the add-ons, you can do that.
Yeah, if you're strictly a #1 guy, Weirdo #1, then add on the other #1s.
Well, I mean, for me, it would be like anything that I always want to start at #1, see if it's something that gets my attention, and then I can always go get more next time. Your next campaign. I'm sure you'll still have the back issues available again. I'm not afraid of waiting. I like to know if it's something that I like before. I won't buy 5 issues of something. It's got to be something I like, and then I go from there.
Yeah, that's why we always make those #1s available in the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Just so people can sample, like you said.
I love the almost McDonald's logo.
That's McDowell's from Coming to America.
Yeah.
The McDowell's.
Now, who's this guy getting ready to shoot? The bad guy?
Yeah, the bad guy there has a kid hostage.
Okay,
So Marshall
he's getting ready to
Strong,
snipe him. All right.
yeah, Marshall Strong is sniping and taking his shot.
Nice. I like that cover. I do like that cover.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I said, anyone could pick whichever cover they want in this. Once the surveys go out, if you prefer this Nature Man cover to the other one, then you'll be able to just, what I usually do, because I've done campaigns where I've backed and other people have done this, I usually just open up 2 pages and I'll have their campaign page open, and then I'll have my survey page open, and then I'll just toggle back and forth and review the covers, and then, go choose which one I want on the survey, go back, look at the other book, choose the cover I want. So it's not too difficult a process.
Right.
I could always just make them all individual. Then you'll have like so many levels. It'll be tough to get through the campaign if you're just a casual person checking it out. So I'd rather just, let people choose whichever cover they want and do that in the survey.
Yeah. Here you go, people. 7 minutes left. You got 5 books to choose from amongst all their back issues and all that for each title. There's a lot of stuff here, guys. You're running out of time. If you're looking and trying to pick something, you're running out of time. You better hit some buttons. Let's go. Here you go.
Yeah, we're down to the wire here. But so we will continue with more ThunderZone titles. Like, I have Big House Blues number 4 already. So this is number 3 on here. And it's another one, just like Nature Man, a 4-issue series. And I believe Jerry has Supercross 5 on deck, right?
Yeah.
So those are 2 titles that'll be coming back. I do have Weirdo 2. And another story I had serialized was in Antarctic Press's Exciting Comics, and it didn't get to the completion of it, is Sumo Boy. So that will probably be in the next round. And I know Marshall Strong has a 3rd issue completed as well. So we're already geared up to keep these titles running regularly for you, where you're not going to have that indie abandonment where you bought an indie book and you never see how the story turned out.
Oh, man, do you hate that when somebody does book 1 and then never does anymore?
Yeah, the cliffhanger, and they seem to think that's okay. But, yeah, what do you want? Didn't work out. But yeah, I think that's one of the main things I try to choose in the people who do take part in ThunderZone is that they're going to be a type of person who has follow through and is, going to deliver a full story to you rather than, that indie abandonment that we've all encountered.
Man, look, there's nothing worse than not getting the rest of the story. Do you remember Harvey? Do you remember Harvey back in the day?
Harvey Comics?
No, the dude on the news, on the news radio, and this is the rest of the story. And you'd hear the end of the reality of what had actually happened, right? You got to have the end of the story, people.
Sure.
You can't leave people hanging, especially like, you go out there, you sell a book, people buy it. Now they're invested in you and they're expecting you, George WWRR, whatever your freaking name is, to finish the story. Didn't Stephen King do that to us too with the Dark Tower series? And we waited forever to do the last one, and then he kind of rushed through it because people were getting mad at him. And it wasn't even the last book wasn't even any good because he rushed through it and he's just like, okay, here, have this garbage, people. It was like, come on, man. We read all these 6 books and we were waiting for the big climactic ending, and it was like, meh.
Do you think he might have had writer's block?
Excuse me?
I mean, R.R. Martin, right? Do you think maybe he just had writer's block?
No, I think he just took the money and went, all right, I got paid.
Right, yeah.
Kind of let the Netflix people or HBO people do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's it. Look, finish the story.
Yeah.
Well, I think in indie comics, what happens is that the people put out their book, and it's a lot of work. Every issue we do is a lot of work.
Yes.
And then, you know, they
find
put
out
the market.
Yeah.
They all of a sudden the millions does not roll in. And it's like, whew, I can't go through that again for this, you know, and you got to stick with it and build a readership. And, you know, I did not recently, but I did my time on the con circuit, you know, beating the drum.
Right.
Jerry's still out there with that. So, you know, it takes time. And you got to primarily have a love of making comics, because that's really, you know, the essential ingredient for that. And
it does crack me up when somebody comes to me and they're going and after they ran their campaign, they're like, Pops, I didn't know it was that much work. And it's like, if you want to sell books, it's that much work and even more. Okay, it's like if you think you're doing all you can do, you got 2 more hours in your day to be working. Or you're not, you know what I mean? You're not looking hard enough, because there's always more you can be doing. And wow, you know, it's like, it's work, guys. If you want to succeed, anything you're doing, if you want to succeed, it's work and you got to put it in. There's no freebie, you know. Anybody thinks that Eastman and Laird didn't work before the Turtles took off? They don't know who those guys were, because I got some really old stuff that they were working on that nobody even remembers, right?
mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, they were putting in the work before that. You know, I mean, yeah, you can get a lucky break, but not first out of the box. You're not going to be, you know, it's just not going to happen first out of the box. You got to put some years behind this.
48 seconds.
Uh-oh.
People, it is now or never.
Yeah,
we don't have a general release, so this is it, you know.
Is there late backer rewards on this one?
There is late backer.
Okay.
So,
okay. Make sure people know that if if you catch this on the replay, you can still get this. You can still hit the link in the description. Go pick this thing up. That's important. They have to know that there is late backer rewards.
Yes, there is late. You know, everything gets bumped a little bit price-wise on late backing. That's why they brought it into play.
Right.
There's fireworks and confetti happening at the moment.
Yes, it is.
I'm,
boom, boom, boom,
I'm covered in confetti over here at my place. Actually, so we did make it, and we thank everyone who did back, and we did see backing right at the beginning of the show, so we're appreciative of that. And we do have a pre-launch page already for the next one.
Nice.
So
we will definitely promote that a little more ahead of time for this one. You know,
yeah,
because that's the one thing I met you guys not that long ago.
yeah.
You know, I didn't really get a chance to push this pre-campaign, but I'll get to push the next one pre-campaign, and that's good. That'll help.
So we saw a question here. Did you know Harvey Pekar, the artist? And Harvey Pekar was a writer. He collaborated with artists who did stories about his own life. So semi-autobiographical. Who is this? Acres of Movies had asked this question, so I was just addressing that. But I really loved that American Splendor movie that they made about Harvey Pekar. I thought that was really great. But yeah, R. Crumb drew some of those, and they had a guy playing R. Crumb in the movie. And I have some American Splendor books. So, do you guys ever read that one, American Splendor with Harvey Pekar?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not. I mean, look.
Jerry, was that popular across the pond?
No, I never heard about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great movie though of this American Splendor. Trying to think who it was. Paul Giamatti played him. And you know,
I'm gonna have to look into it.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal movie, and you know he's more of a writer, but they have someone playing R. Crumb, and it's exceptionally well done. You know, he was an underground artist, and I'm trying to think who eventually published. Maybe Dark Horse eventually picked it up and did some of his American Splendor stuff. But yeah, he had a number of artists who he collaborated with, but they were all just slice of life stuff. You know, him going crazy while he's online at a supermarket or something, with some lady who has like 200 coupons at the register.
Kids
And we also have in production our Thunder Guard #2 book, which again is our characters crossing over because they are on the same Earth. And I believe Jerry might have been drawing the cover as we've been broadcasting.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I am.
I don't know if there's any way to share this screen.
Okay, Pops, it's okay to share screen?
Yes.
Okay.
By all means.
Hold on.
Kind of end off the show with a preview of what's to come.
Yeah. And don't forget Mega Man, people. Jerry will be working on that one too.
Yeah, I backed that. It was a great book. The art, phenomenal.
That may possibly be the first book that was ever backed by the Madness Entertainment Group, LLC.
There you go.
Not the first thing I ever backed, but it might be the first one the company ever backed. That one's strictly for research purposes. Oh, look at this.
Here it comes.
Can you see my screen?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, right. As Dan said, this is the layout for the cover. So, hold on. So this is just a sketching going in. So you can see I'm still penciling, but I'm doing each character. What I always do for Dan's team is that I always draw every character separately. So there's my Singapore Sting at the front. Then there's Nightcrawler. Then there's Athlete. That's Nigel Flood's character, right?
Yes.
And Nightclaw belongs to who?
Uh,
I'm trying to remember.
Nightclaw is Carlo Guardi.
Right,
Carlo Guardi owns Nightclaw.
right. So it's
Thunder
Thunderbird, right?
Woman. Thunder Woman is Dan Hoynes.
Right, okay. Captain Honduras, that's yours.
Captain Honduras is my character. Yep.
And then there's Vulcan.
Vulcan from Francisco Zamora.
Right.
Also the letter.
Yeah, so what we're going to be working on as well is how to draw ThunderZone characters. So for each character, I'm going to go through the sequence. Like here for Captain Honduras, there was a skeleton, then there was a fleshing out. These are the contour lines. Then the sketching goes in, then the costume, and then eventually we get to the proper penciling, the spotting. And that's the ref that I did for another cover. Remember, we did this was for another cover that we did.
Yeah, Thunder Guard #1.
Yes, from Thunder Guard #1. So each character will go through this it's going through the same process. So Vulcan has already been penciled. Of course, next after this is the inking and the coloring. But yeah, so that's the base. That's going to be the fundamental layer of the cover when it's done.
Yeah, so as Jerry mentioned, we're going to do a how to draw Thunder Guard book, which we'll probably have as an add-on or a stretch goal. We got to still figure that out, but it'll be a good art instructional for those who are looking to learn the process.
Yeah, it should be good fun.
I gotta say, guys, right at the end of the campaign, we when I started focusing on this art, I missed what was happening over on our Pilled channel, and we got raided by Neo's channel. Bunch of people popped in. We love you guys, man. Look, this campaign, this link that's up a little higher in the Pilled chat, the campaign link. That's what we were talking about here. This set of comics, and you can get this stuff, man. You can still get it on late backer rewards. It's not totally over. You can still get that stuff. So if you catch the replay of this show or go back a little bit and look at the 5 different books that we were highlighting in this campaign today, you can still get that stuff. I just wanted y'all to know that and appreciate you for popping in. Love you guys. Pilled is great, man. I love that platform. It is awesome. Every now and then somebody will raid your channel from another channel and all their viewers will come over to your show. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool. I love that place. So yeah, guys, check all this stuff out. This art is amazing. This is Jerry's stuff. Jerry's stuff. Good stuff. Jerry's also the guy that did Mega Man comic, and I know you guys have seen that over there on Pilled, so you want to check that out too. Mega Man, right there. Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Pops.
Hey, promotion is what we're doing here, man. That's I love it. What's up, everybody? Man, there's so many people popped in. I can't even go down the list, but a whole bunch of people jumped in here. We love you guys. You guys rock. Yeah.
Yeah, and this process Jerry does, because this is primarily people backing on to be in this book. We'll have like in the Thunder Guard #2 campaign, you will have a level for people to be in Thunder Guard #3. So in that respect, as you can see, Jerry's doing these all on separate layers, you're almost getting like a character commission, or you are getting a character commission as well, because we'll send out the individual layered pieces to the person who owns the character, and they're free to use it for another indie book as well if they so choose. Like some of these layers, some of the character bits get a little hidden, So using him again as a single character piece, you'll be able to show off the whole thing and see the full character for again anyone who's kind of layered over.
Beautiful stuff, Jerry, as always, bro. Look at that.
Yeah, there's the first cover, Thunder Guard #1. We'll reoffer that with Thunder Guard #2, which Jerry's doing the cover. We're quite a while away, or quite a bit in progress with the art on that, because we're almost at the end of the art for #2. We're partially colored on it, and then Francisco Zamora does the lettering. So that is coming along pretty good.
Beautiful.
And that was like a mock-up we did for actually one of these covers where you can have your character on it. So before we had the Thunder Guard book, actually, we just had this mock cover with backers who backed to have their character on the cover.
Yeah, I've forgotten about this.
Very cool. Very cool.
Different covers. Yeah, that's right. We had a different the campaign that you were doing at that time, we were doing with Defenders of Europe and Supercross.
Yep.
So the variant covers had those mastheads. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we have Argo Comics, and we have Argo Comics page in Facebook. We have Argo Comics ThunderZone Facebook group, and I have my own Dan Sehn Facebook, of course. Argo Comics on Instagram. I think I'm Dan Sehn on Twitter, or X as we call it now. Argo Comics on Blue Sky, and Argo Comics on YouTube. So these are all the places where you can get the updates, or you can join our mailing list. And that's where you'll be able to find out about all these books that are coming up, including Thunder Guard #2, which Jerry is drawing the cover here.
Nice. There you go, guys. Go check out the campaign we were just talking about. Go check it out, because you can still get all 5 of those books, all the back issues for those titles, all that stuff still available. Dan will hook you up. This is what we do, people. We'll be back here at 5 o'clock. I'll be back here with Ghost Pepper, and we're going to be talking to Jesse Sosa about Teen Strike 3 and 4, which is another one that I think ends within 24 hours or something. So we got to get out here and try to get a shout out for that one too. Thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate you. I have to pack this all up and go home. My weekend away is over. I got to pack up my computer and everything, so I will be out of touch for the next couple hours, guys. So,
well, we appreciate being on, Pops.
You bet. Hey, anytime, man. Anytime you want to come out and talk about something, you let me know. We got you, Jerry.
Thanks, Pop.
Always,
cheers.
My friend. It's always good to see you, bud. Cheers,
bro.
I know our draw streams in Singapore's time zone don't get along real good, but you are always welcome. You're always welcome.
Thanks,
now,
man. Thanks.
I got to do that thing that geez, Abo. Yeah, you rolled up in here late, man. But check out that link in the description. Go check out Dan. They got 5 different books priced well. Go check them out, man. And I got to do that thing that I always do. I never look when we're doing a countdown or a launch. I don't really play anybody's ads until after the show's over, because we focus on yours. The Slaughterville ad that I played at the beginning, the Needlemeyer Mayo, that is not a real ad. There's no such thing as Needlemeyer Mayo. That's a parody thing that we do because it's funny. Okay. Everybody don't freak out. There's no red dye in the Needlemeyer Mayo. It won't cause addiction because you can't buy that. Okay. It's not a real sponsor. Some people actually freak out on some of this stuff that we do, man. What can I tell you? Something you can get. Another, look, guys, Chris Brown, he was in the chat earlier, just started his Slaughterville novel campaign for the slasher. So I'm going to show that ad. I'm going to cover our sponsors, and we're going to be out of here. Dan, Jerry, great to see you guys, man.
Thanks a lot.
You bet.
Cheers. Thanks,
Peace,
folks.
everybody.
Peace.
In the heart of a major city, in a place raised to honor Earth's past protectors, the world will again learn, sometimes, superpowered intrigue doesn't stop at the grave. Galaxy Memorial Park, Volume 1, beginning crowdfunding Memorial Day 2025.
Beyond the world we know is a place where reality bends and time stands still. A place where legends, fairy tales, and nightmares are real. A world where legends are born and destinies collide. Alice has spent her life lost in an interdimensional rift known as Wonderland, and it forged her into a deadly bounty hunter. With her ancient clockwork guardian Big Tin by her side, they hunt the things that stalk the shadows of Wonderland. Alice Lost in Wonderland, issues 1 and 2 launch May 6 on Kickstarter. Follow along at GoMrFish.com.
It's Flip City Magazine, The Parodies, Special Edition, with savage send-ups of The Walking Dead, Star Trek Picard, Stranger Things, The Mandalorian, Guardians of the Galaxy, and more from the first 4 years of Flip City. Get Flip City The Parodies free when you subscribe in print at FlipCityMag.com. The world's best satire magazine, and never, ever woke.
Click on the tube and feel the vibe. Every show you crave right here live. Heroes and villains clash in the night. Madness Comic Network sets it right. Scroll through the list, find what you need. Epic battles and fast-paced speed. From capes to cosmic space delight. Tune in and watch your favorites ignite. On Facebook, share the thrill so grand. On X, the buzz across the land. Madness Comic Network all around. so joy is found. Uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness Comic brightens days. Hey! New uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze.